Hey everyone, it's your girl T, and welcome back. We are the Med Queens, and we are talking about season 7, episode 6, Beyond the Wall. We're so glad you can join us. I am going to first let the ladies introduce themselves, and then they're going to give us a rating of how they liked this episode. AK, how you living, girl?
I am living pretty good at the moment. Thank you all for coming in and joining us. That's all I got. Let's get into this.
All right, B, let us know what's up.
Hey guys, it's Lady D. This episode was interesting. Um, all in all, it was pretty solid. Not like a 10 or anything like that. I know we're getting your ratings later, but all in all, it's a pretty solid episode. I'm excited to be here, and I'm really excited for next week's episode. To be honest.
I am too. And of course, can't do nothing without my beauty queen. Let them know.
What's good, everyone? Thank you so much for coming out and hanging out with us as we discuss this episode. I'm like you, B. It was a cool episode, not a 10, but a really good episode. So I'm ready to get into this.
All right, and now that the squad has introduced themselves, let's talk some thrones, ladies. All right, let's just get these two chicks out the way. Let's talk about Sansa and Arya and the whole arguing back and forth about the letter to Ned. Not to Ned, but saying that Sansa was trying to, basically she was trying to save her dad, but she wrote the letters saying that Ned betrayed them and he was a traitor and all of that. Arya confronts her. I want to know what you guys feel about the situation. B, very curious to how you feel about the whole situation. And also, later on, they talk in Sansa goes into Arya's room snooping around, gets caught. Arya tries to play the name faces, the faces game, whatever game it is, but they basically threaten to kill her. So, B, I'm curious, what did you think about the whole Arya Sansa thing?
Okay, guys. I already know I was gonna be first, and I started eating candy. Okay, full disclosure, guys. With Arya and Sansa, like let's start with from the top, from their first scene. What Arya remembers, like about Ned, and like I feel like it's just a story of perseverance. It's like a story of perseverance and her father's love and her acceptance of her, right? And I think that that's important because we know that she feels like Sansa does not have an acceptance of her. It never had an acceptance of her. So I think it sets the stage for the rest of what happens throughout the scene. So we see that whatever is going on in Littlefinger's mind, and I'm starting to think he's working for Cersei. I don't know. But whatever is going on with him where he's trying to split up the girls, it's clearly working because Arya is buying right into it. And I love Arya so much. I'm so disappointed in her. I'm really disappointed in her because I feel like she should be able to see better than this. She sat there and read Sansa, which don't get me wrong. Sansa deserves
you love
to read.
that shit.
Oh, you know, I was sitting there like, eat the popcorn. Did they string you over a rack? Did your bones pop? Did they? And when she said, you know, you could have never survived what I survived. You know, you can never imagine what I went through. And Arya was like, I don't know, I can imagine quite a lot. I was like, girl, you have no idea. Like, you guys really have no idea of each other. But it's interesting in the fact that I think Arya's been on her own so long and has been transitioning into no one so long that maybe a part of her really is missing because I feel like she's not giving Sansa enough of a chance. And coming from me, that's a really big thing, right? Like, I freaking hate Sansa. But like when you look at this, it's like, whoa, Arya, like you're not, like, chill out. Like you should be able to see. Like you sat there, read Sansa, and figured out, okay, who is it that you wouldn't want to be able to read this letter? If you can do that, baby girl, and break it down like that, you should also be able to break down, well, who's going to benefit the most from something like this happening, you know? Because that's how the Game of Thrones is played. So I'm a little bit, I'm a little bit disappointed. I'm a little bit disappointed with Arya, but she does make sense as far as, you know, especially with the point about Lyanna Mormont. Like, she looked at her and said that was like, oh, you don't care about Jon and nobody like that. Oh, you care about the Northern Lords. Like, he caught her in that, and I kind of think that Sansa needed to be caught in that. Like, here's the flip side, because I know I kind of hate Sansa, but whatever. Here's the flip side. I think that Arya's not being fair to her, but at the same time, I think it's because she senses that Sansa's being a little bit shady. And she has been a little bit shady. She has been dropping shade. And I feel like this episode right here was a turning point for Sansa. And I had to be like, oh my gosh, like, I'm so happy. And it was finally, I saw it. I finally saw it. She finally like woke up and wisened up. What's the next Sansa scene? I don't want to go out of it because I wrote my notes in the way that they are.
No, I was just basically saying the whole Sansa and Arya, because remember they talked. Sansa went into the room as well, and then they had another conversation. Remember, she tried to play the money face game with her.
Oh,
and
yes,
she was like,
I do remember that.
These,
okay, so
all the whole thing with Sansa. It's so cute. She has her notes, y'all. She about to drop some knowledge.
No, I don't. No, I had to keep it like straight so I can remember. Okay, so I just want to say, I just want to reiterate again, like, I think that Arya was going a little bit too hard on Sansa, but at the same time, Sansa needed that because Sansa has been being a little bit shady, especially I have right here in my notes when Sansa dropped that little bomb about, oh, Jon lost the Battle of the Bastards. You should be on your knees thanking me. Oh, excuse me? You should be happy. Don't nobody kill you right now. You kept an entire army in the wings when you really didn't have to. Like, you almost let Jon die when you really didn't have to. And I don't know. I feel like she needed to be checked and she needed to be backed up in a corner. Again, this thing with Sansa feeling like what she values because she's learned her value system from King's Landing. She's learned it from Cersei. She's learned it from Littlefinger. Excuse me. What she values as power is not what Arya values as power, and that's something that is parallel in this episode. Like, you see what they both value as power, and you see it when they finally get in that room and Arya closes that door behind her. To your point about Sansa snooping in there, that was clearly a trap. Arya was like, "Yeah, go ahead, bro. I'll go ahead in there." I thought it was hilarious that she had the waist face in there and she had Walter Frey's face. It was like this. She's just walking around with her face. It's like, you're such a jerk. But she has them, and Sansa, like any big sister, is like, what is this? And Arya does try to play the game with her. But Sansa's like, no, I'm not going to play the game with you. And I think a little bit of that is being a big sister. Like, girl, why you got faces in your bag? Like, stop trying to play games with me. You got faces. Like, what is this? Like, explain what this is. Like, my little sister who came back and is apparently a killer now, you got faces. So I think it was a little bit less of I'm the Lady of Winterfell and more like, yo, I'm your big sister. You're going to answer me. Stop trying to play me. Like, what the hell is it? And again, this is another, I feel like, example of Arya not really giving Sansa a chance, because it's not so much of I'm the lady. It's more so I'm your big sister. You need to explain what's going on here because this is a little bit weird. To the point of Sansa looking at what is important versus Arya looking at what is important. Sansa learned from Cersei and Littlefinger that what is important is power, right? Like, that's what's important. So to protect herself, she immediately thinks of, oh, my way of protecting myself, power. I have this many men. However, Arya doesn't have that same value system. Arya feels that she can protect herself. So the way that she looks at, that scene in the room was less of, Sansa's, I feel like when I looked at it, it should be less of, Sansa's threatening Arya and more of, Sansa feels threatened by Arya. If that makes sense. So Sansa feels threatened by Arya and she's like, this is the way I protect myself. I've got 300 men. And Arya's like, well, this is the way I protect myself. I'll steal your face. Like, so I think she was completely unprepared for that. But again, I kind of think that Arya was being a little bit unfair, and it makes me sad to say because I love Arya and I hate Sansa, but she was being a little bit unfair. Now, I don't know if we're going into this part of it, but I just want to go ahead and say that the thing that makes me proud about Sansa in this episode is the fact that she sent Brienne away. So I don't know if we're going to talk about that or not, or we'll talk about it separately.
No, keep going. Matter of fact, no, let's slow down real quick. because I really want to get you guys' opinion on that. Beauty Queen, tell me, what did you think about the whole back and forth with Sansa and Arya?
I really didn't know how to feel about it, to be quite honest. I really like B. I appreciated that part where she talks about how her, you know, how her father had cheered her on when she finally got the arrow in the bullseye. I think that is something that Arya needed because knowing Arya's backstory, she was always the odd person out. You know what I mean? She was a misfit. And so she never did, what she was supposed to do. And to gain acceptance from her father, at least, I think was pivotal for her, right? And so um, I don't know if Arya doing what she's doing is basically trying to really weed out where Sansa really stands. At least in my brain, um, the way that she's going about, you know, talking to Sansa and questioning Sansa and putting some, it's like she's trying to get information because they haven't been with each other for a very long time. And so it's like she's trying to figure out what's going on in Sansa's head and who Sansa really is at this point, and is she any different than than the Sansa that she left, that she last knew, like when before they were separated. It just seems like all the questions that she's asking her and all the taunting that she's doing, it just seems like she's trying to elicit a response from Sansa, which in effect, and the only reason why I say that is when she gets to the part where after she reads the letter and she starts talking about what is Sansa afraid of, um, I think we got to the heart of the matter why she confronted Sansa about the letter. Because to me, it just seemed like she was trying to figure out where did Sansa stand. Because she could have easily just accepted her excuse. I hate to say excuse, but she could have accepted that she said that she was scared, that she was just a child and that she wrote that. Um, or Sansa could have just been truthful, which could have been truthful about it. And I think the fact that Sansa was telling half truths about when she wrote the letter, and then she tried to deflect, answering Arya's question by bringing up Cersei just wants us to fight. Can't you see? I mean, like she is like skirting around the answer that Arya was looking for, and I think she's like using this piece of intel that she now has to kind of to kind of keep Sansa in check, because from the beginning of the season, I had like this thing in the back of my neck, like Sansa's scheming something. I don't know what it is. I have, but to me, I don't feel like she's totally like genuine in anything. Like she has like something else that's cooking underneath that maybe nobody knows about, not even Littlefinger. But Arya Arya being who she is probably senses something is off. Um, and that was just the first part of it. By the time she confronts Sansa in her room, she mentions playing the game of faces. And to me, the only reason why you would want to do that is you're trying to ascertain where does Sansa really stand? What is she really up to? I mean, that's the only way you're really gonna know is to ask the questions and to have, to gain this intel. Because if she wanted to kill Sansa, she could have, and Sansa wouldn't have been able to do anything about it. But she instead just, played on Sansa's fear, if I'm making any sense. Um, I don't think she's gonna kill Sansa. I don't think she wants to kill Sansa. I do think that she wants to get to the root of what Sansa is really trying to accomplish. She just wants her to tell the truth and to just be honest instead of being underhanded and scheming. At least that is what I got from the whole exchange. I could be wrong, but that is what I got from the exchange. I didn't really appreciate the writing. I thought the whole thing was not really all that. It wasn't done that great, but that is what I got from the exchange from the both of them.
I always love your thoughts because I'm with you. I definitely didn't care for this, but I want to hear what AK has. Get your words together, girl. I want to hear what AK has to say, and she also has Timo's thoughts. So we're going to get both of them. Okay, let us know, AK.
All right. Actually, do you remember what the first thing was she had said? Because you guys were going in for a minute, but I wasn't able to follow all of it.
She hates Sansa. She was saying how like everyone's so quick to write off Arya, and that what did she say, that Sansa explainers, Sansa gets to get away with everything. Yeah, Arya, she's showing her weakness in a way, and everyone's ready for her to die and kill her off and hate her. When Sansa gets away with everything, poor little Sansa, you get raped for one little thing, and that makes you strong. And Arya's been through a lot, and that we need to see through her perspective that she was a child when all this was happening. So,
Yeah.
Did I do a good job?
You did, yes, and I think I'm coming up to
Sansa's just a bitch who can't do anything right. She should just die, and she kind of wants Arya to wear her face. What do you think? I love you, Timo.
Oh wow. Well, that whole scene, the whole thing with Winterfell really is just ticking me off right now. I need those two girls to actually sit and talk, honestly and openly. And I need Bran to unplug from the weirwood net a little bit, because he could squash all this shit real quick by just cluing them into what was going down. But he's all extra on his way to being a damn Force ghost and shit. Arya is she's getting a little out there. I will fully and firmly admit that, and I don't like that it seems like she's being played so easily by Littlefinger. I mean, especially with what we know she was trained to do, with what she can do. It doesn't seem right. It's Bravos all over again. She's walking around looking like baby Ned in broad daylight, like nothing's supposed to happen, and then she got shanked. And now again, it seems like she's being careless and ridiculous. And that may end very badly for her. And I don't want to see that happen, because Arya is my favorite and she must live. Let's see, what else? The thing with... Oh, wait, we're not going ahead to the Brienne conversation right yet. T?
Nope, we just want to... I just want to know you guys' thoughts about the whole back and forth with Arya and Sansa.
All right. Yeah, they need to talk and get it together. Arya should have used better tact in everything she was saying. I mean, Sansa did need to be called out, because she is being, baby Littlefinger. You yell one moment that, only a fool would trust Littlefinger, but you're still here confiding secrets into him. What do you think is going to happen? Neither of them are making much sense, and they need to get the shit together. That's my main opinion on that.
Y'all all made good points. I'm going to have to side with all of you. I hated them arguing with each other. I think both of them are being fucking stupid. We got bigger things to worry about, like the fucking Night King. And how about fucking Cersei? Or even fucking Littlefinger that everyone knows you can't trust. Yet somehow Sansa's dumbass is going to him for advice, even though she's been telling people not to trust him. What are you doing? And then you have Arya, who's so fucking mad about some petty shit of her sister writing a letter. You use the excuse that, okay, you were a child, I was a child, yet y'all both did the exact same thing. So it's kind of like, really, you're willing to risk your family losing their army just so that you can expose Sansa. Like, really? You're that fucking stupid? And I hate the fact that they're writing her like that, because Arya really isn't that type of girl to just fall for the okie doke. But of course, she falling for the fucking okie doke. And then Sansa, the fact that she's not wising up to Littlefinger, because she did ask, where did you get this letter and who gave it to you? You already fucking know that Littlefinger's been talking to Bran and trying to give him favors. Your antennas didn't fucking go up and just say, well, if this is a scroll, let me talk to the fucking maester. Oh, you know what? If you would have talked to the maester, he would have said, yeah, I gave it to Littlefinger on your behalf. What? Problem solved. Or how about Arya? You just sit down and have a fucking conversation and be like, well, why did you do this? And what was going on then? Because memory serves correct, Arya looked away. Sansa didn't. And she keeps saying, oh, well, I would have died if I ran up there and I would have tried to stop, but you didn't. And then let's just not forget, you also had an opportunity to kill Tywin and you fucking didn't. So you can throw, oh, I would have died and I could have done this shit, but you ain't do shit. And then it's like you're back at Winterfell, and the only thing you concern yourself with is going against your sister. Like, it's just like what John said, like, we have so many enemies, we need to trust each other. But if you would have actually had a fucking conversation with her, y'all would have just realized y'all being played. And then y'all could have started talking about it and play him. You know who really needs to bring their ass back to Winterfell? John. Why the fuck you didn't even write back to them to the point where they're arguing and you don't know what's going on? How about another person that needs to go to Winterfell? I want the Hound to go to Winterfell. Been able to keep both these chicks on lock and say, get it the fuck together, is the Hound. I really, 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 really hope the Hound goes, because these chicks are acting dumb, and I don't care if both of them can off each other. My thing is that you talking too much shit. I hate someone that always talking like, yeah, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, and then don't do shit. You're not gonna fucking kill it. And it's not gonna help your house if you kill your sister or if you expose her and then you throwing Lyanna in her face. And I'm like, but none of y'all was in her position, and she was right. Lose it, and that it was them that wrote for her. But you know what I'm saying? You want to say that she should have said softer, but at that point, Arya is just basically threatening this girl over and over again. And once again, y'all can't even trust each other, because you got Snoop to find this letter because because you feel as though your sister really would expose you. And then, oh, you stupid, stupid girl. They're both being extremely stupid, and to watch this because they know that there's a bigger threat out there, because Bran said that the Night King's coming. So if anything, they know that there's a bigger threat out there. But no, let's talk about some shit that happened in season 1. Like, Ned didn't also have something to do with his death. His dumbass literally went to Cersei and say, hey, I know those are not your kids. You better get out of here. No, you fucking deal with her or you die. And guess what happened? Okay, then. I'm just over these girls. So I'm with you. This is bad writing, because these aren't the characters that went through all that BS for them to just revert to being stupid when you get back home. Like, is this something in the air that makes them stupid? I don't get it, but I'm over this. Like, I hope they wrap this up, because to me, it was pointless to have this argument. So do you guys have anything else you want to add on about the whole Sansa Arya thing, or you want to move on to when she starts talking to Littlefinger doing more stupid stuff?
I do. I have one thing to your point about Arya and Tywin. I have it in my notes. Like, Arya specifically says, I didn't betray our father, our mother, Rob. Okay, you did though. Because to your point, like, Ned Stark's whole thing was watching the execution. The person that's pronounced that, you know what I'm saying? And then you watch it happen. Sansa didn't look away. Did look away. Well, Yoren had her look away. Sansa didn't look away. So if it's going to be a betrayal against fathers, even though Sansa, that letter, Jesus, Louise, it's like, they're both like, there's betrayal on both sides. And as far as not, you had Jack and Hagar who could have killed Tywin Lannister, and that would have stopped the Red Wedding from ever happening. In a way, you did kind of betray Rob, almost in a crime of opportunity, because you could have been like Jack and Tywin. So it's like everybody had an opportunity to do something if they were brave enough, or if they were strong enough, or if they had, the means or whatever, what have you. And I think what happens is that because Arya is so young, You know, like her growing up like this has really just, she's like a kid. It's like a really little kid processing all of this. And she's just holding on to her anger, like, oh my gosh, you did this, and dad got his head chopped off. And I know that's messed up, but that's Arya in this episode. And it makes me feel sad because I really love Arya the character, but I just agree with you guys. Maybe it's just bad writing. Like,
or it could be that this is my thing. Either they're both playing Littlefinger in a way and they're just not communicating with each other. I just refuse to believe they're that fucking stupid. That's my whole thing.
oh,
But you're right, they're both, that's what I'm saying. They both fucked up.
Yeah.
Like, get over it and move on. You're home now. The real threat is not each other. It's what's beyond the wall. It's Cersei. It's Littlefinger. Like, everyone knows you can't trust Littlefinger, yet y'all worried about each other. Like, come on. Look, where's the lone wolf? You know, he says the lone wolf dies and the pack survives, but they not acting like a pack. They acting like they're not home and that they're not family. Like, come on, y'all. Anything else, or we ready to move on?
Yep.
No. All right. So now we see Starks being dumbasses again because we see Sansa falling for what Littlefinger is saying. You know that Brienne will be the one to intervene between you two, and you know your sister wouldn't do that. And I think he's playing that reverse thing because he knows Sansa's only going to take whatever he says with a grain of salt. So he's like, "Oh, your sister wouldn't do that," knowing damn well she would. So I'm gonna start off with AK. What do you think about the whole conversation between Sansa and Littlefinger?
I think I need Sansa to not be an idiot. She needs to stop talking to Littlefinger. I mean, I just can't comprehend where she's going with that. And why is Littlefinger even still in the damn North? I'm like sick of his storyline, and it's making hers even worse. I just don't like it.
Fucking Sansa. AK don't even have much to say to your ass.
Nope.
B. What do you actually no, because I know B's about to drop some stuff. Beauty Queen. What do you think about the whole Sansa and Littlefinger?
I just find that it's curious. You know, she always mentions how he's not to be trusted, but yet she always takes him into counsel. So it just seems like she has this codependent relationship on him. Like she can't really trust him, but she can't seem to make moves or decisions without him. Like she needs that person to feed her ego, and he does that very well. He does feed her ego, even though she says to everybody else he can't be trusted. It just seems that as time has gone on, she's become kind of codependent on him because he's like following her around. He's listening to you know, he's kind of advising her on a lot of things, and he's there to kind of like, you know, stroke her ego. You know what I mean? And she, I don't know, sometimes it just seems to me, I could be by myself on that. She just seems to kind of soak it in, you know what I mean? And so she kind of keeps him around. But yet she'll tell everybody else, don't trust him, he can't be trusted. If he can't be trusted, why do you allow him in your space? It just doesn't seem to make sense to me, unless, you know what I mean, one, you could be using him for some purpose, which it's not coming off that way. It just seems to me that you have this kind of codependent relationship with this dude. So that's all I got from that's all I really got from that. Like her asking him, you know, her talking about her finding the letter and all this other stuff. You know who Littlefinger is. You could have already sensed that he probably already knows a lot of the answers to the questions that you were asking, but yet you just wanted him to feed your ego. So and that's, it didn't seem to me that you were really looking for an answer to the question. You were just looking for a solution to what you consider to be a problem.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you on that as well, because it just pissed me off. Like, you've been saying that he can't be trusted, yet every time I look, he's right there knowing everything. So it's like, what are you really fucking doing, girl? And then, but I never thought that maybe she's questioning to see where she got the letter, because he quickly said, I don't know. Littlefinger smiles, I think he's lying. So B, what do you think about the whole conversation between Sansa and Littlefinger?
Guys, I think that this was one of, oh, sorry, Echo. I think that this was one of my favorite scenes of the episode. And everybody's like, what? But it was like, rewatch that scene. Okay, guys, Sansa is playing the game. Like, this was the point in the episode where it changed for me. That made me say, okay, I'm going to go back and I'm going to rewatch every episode this season through this lens. Sansa has been playing the fudge out of Littlefinger, and she's doing it right now. I know you guys are like, why she keeps taking counsel in him and she's da-da-da-da-da. It's Littlefinger, G. If he wants to know something, he would know anyway. So why not keep him close enough to where you can bounce ideas off of him and see what he says, especially if you think that he's causing the problem. She did some hood G stuff. She went straight to the source and was like, all right, where you get the letter? I don't know. She like, cool, all right. You ever needed to fight? And I'm not saying I've ever done this or I know anyone that's ever needed done this, do this. But in the event that you have an issue with somebody, right, and you can't get them at their house, or you can't get them nowhere else, and you happen to show up to their job because you just happen to know where they work, but you don't know when they get there. And so you ask, yo, such and such, you know when this person worked? Nah, I don't know. Such and such, you know when this, eventually you're going to find somebody who ends up on the schedule or somebody who doesn't realize that you're looking for that person and what for. And that is what Sansa did. She asked Arya, what you going to do with that? She got an answer for that, but she kept asking her, where'd you get that from? Where'd you get that from? She not stupid. She was right there when the maester was like, look, he has a Maester Luwin made a copy of everything that came into Winterfell. She not dumb. She's been using that information herself in order to make decisions. So she knows. And she knows Littlefinger was right there. So she questioned him. She came in, I was like, oh, somebody gives this girl an Emmy, daytime award. Pretty horrible acting there, Sophie Turner, but I get it. She's trying to play it up. She rushes in the room, all skirts and flutter. How does she get that? How does she know that? I don't know. She's pretty resourceful. Pause. All right.
Right.
All this other stuff, you know, letting him talk, feeding them. All right, lie. Okay, it's you. You're the problem. I don't know how, but you're the problem. How do I know? Because you immediately try to switch it and tell me to get rid of my sister through martial force. You're trying to have me kill my sister. You know what I'm saying? You're trying to pit Brienne, my sworn shield, her sworn shield, against, like, you're trying to throw my house into chaos. And I would think that Sansa knows this because Sansa's been there to play the game. I don't think she's that dumb. I think that this is signaled to us where when Littlefinger says that to her about Brienne, she turns away from him and just faces out the window and stares at Winter. That's it. She's just like, yep, you're right. And then the next time we see Sansa, she sends Brienne away. So, I mean, I don't know if we're going into that part or whatever, but she sends Brienne away. And I think that that's a signal to us. Like, she's not dumb. She figured it out. She's playing the game. She keeping Littlefinger close because he would know everything anyway, yo. It's better this way, though, because you can at least kind of figure out what he's doing. If you got him around you 24 hours a day, at least you could kind of see what he's doing. I think.
No, you make, girl, yeah, because when you think about it, I always wonder why. It just seemed kind of interesting that she sent Brienne away, but I thought it was because, well, I'll get into that later. But as far as the Littlefinger Sansa talk, now that you say it, she did look at him kind of funny when he was like, "Oh, I don't know," and I think it goes back to, I want to say it was season 4 when she had stood up for him and she was stitching her dress and he was like, why did you help me out? And she was like, I don't know what they'll do to me. I know what you would do. So it's best to have your enemies Littlefinger away. If you keep Littlefinger at a distance, there's no telling what he can do. But moving on, since you brought up the topic, so she does send Brienne away. And of course, Brienne is fighting to say, you know, at least let me have Podrick stay. But now that you said this, it's making me think that she sent them away so that Littlefinger would not have them near. Because if there was a situation where her and Arya would have to got into an altercation, Brienne would be in between, and Arya would not hold back, and then she loses that. And we saw that Arya can handle herself, so that's like a lose-lose situation for her. So I think it's the only way to get her out of the situation. I also think they had to have Brienne leave so that she can go talk to Jaime, but that's just, I think, in my opinion, just bad writing on that part. But I do get why she sent Brienne away. And also, I like, some people say, you know, why didn't she herself because Cersei asked for her? It's like, that would be suicide for Sansa if she went back to King's Landing. And then it wouldn't make any sense for her to go to King's Landing with an army, because they need to really be staying up at the north. So I get why, now that you say it like that, it makes sense why she told her to leave. And you can tell that she didn't really want her to go, but she had to make her leave. So let's start. Well, she arguing with baby. So B, how about you finish off with what you think about Brienne and Sansa?
Okay. So I think that, yeah, to your, like you were saying, I agree with that. And I think that she sent her away so that Littlefinger could not use her. Because the reality is Littlefinger knows the rules, right? And we do too. Sworn sword. So realistically, even if Sansa doesn't tell you that Arya is a threat, if Littlefinger tells you that Arya is a threat, if Littlefinger gets other people to tell you that Arya is a threat, all this stuff, and you see any aggression, you know, you set up any sort of situation where there's any flare up between her and Arya, Brienne's going to be honor bound to have to step in.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel I know that Sansa gets this because she understands she gets the rules. So now she's like, oh, wait, let me remove these. She literally took pieces off the board. She's not going to allow him to use them. And I think that deep down, you know, to the point of why I keep Littlefinger close, during that conversation with Littlefinger, he did say something that was of use to her. Arya's not going to do anything that's going to hurt her family. And she knows that. Like, it clicks to her. She's like, you know what, you're right. Unless she thinks I'm a threat to Jon, but I'm not a threat to Jon. There's something else that's going on here. And what I realized from that scene is, oh, what's going on is you're trying to get Littlefinger, not a threat to Jon.
Yeah, she's
Littlefinger. I don't know what she's working on it, y'all. Trust me, she's working on it. Because that scene, right? I'm telling, she came in like a G, like, who did it? Oh, you don't know. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Like, literally just, and then use the pieces of information that she got from him to then make other decisions, such as sending Brienne away and thinking about it really like, Arya's not going to hurt me. If anything, and she said it to Brienne, I'm the safest anywhere here at home. And you're right, you got Arya. You probably are the safest there. Arya's mad, but she ain't going to kill you. She's not going to kill you. And I think that Sansa is betting on that. I think that's her whole game with her. She's betting on the fact that, and I think that's what that face is when she leans back in that chair and Brienne finally leaves. I think that's what she's betting on. Like, I have a sworn sword. She's not going to kill me. Like, there's something that she's cooking up, and we probably won't see it till next season, because I don't think that we're going to see it this season. We get into predictions, but we're going to see it. Whatever happens with Littlefinger, it'll be explosive. We get it next season or whatever, but she's going to, there's something with him. That scene, y'all, please, and I'm going to stop. Please go back and rewatch it. I'm telling you, rewatch that scene with Littlefinger, and then watch how she talks to Brienne. She's biting Brienne's head off to get her to go.
Yeah, I did know she was like, I cannot stop. You have to go. And if I have to be mean to do it, then that's what I have to do. It's like she put her armor on.
Yeah, she's like,
just like how, you know, when Ned was the father, he had a soft face, but when he was a straight face, you know. Now that you said this, it makes me think of what might possibly happen. But like I said, we'll definitely leave that when we're just going to talk about predictions. So, Beauty Queen, what did you think about the whole Brienne and Sansa scene?
I thought it was necessary. I liked. I agree with both of. I'm sorry. Give me a second. Bethany. Yes. Just keep it down for a few minutes.
And AK will be back shortly, guys. She just had to bounce real quick.
I agree with everything that the both of you said. I do believe that it was necessary for her to leave. I never I don't believe that Arya would ever kill Sansa, even though she can, but she wouldn't. You know what I mean? And attesting to the fact that she turned over the dagger that Bran gave to her, she gave it to Sansa. You know what I mean? And I think Sansa's gonna use it for some purpose. I guess we'll end up finding out in the end. So I agree that, you know, that she needed to remove Brienne from Winterfell, just because Littlefinger brought Brienne up in their personal conversation that they had earlier. So now Brienne won't be able to be used as a pawn in order for him to, whatever it is that he's trying to accomplish, he won't be able to use Brienne in order to do that. So, and I like the reasoning that I like the reason that she used in order to, you know, make it happen. So it doesn't seem like it won't raise any red flags, right? Because she tells Brienne, you know, I'm not trying to go down to King's Landing to be a hostage. They're not going to get another Stark hostage. You could be my emissary, and you could represent my interests. I'm not quoting it exactly how she said it, but I'm paraphrasing. And that way, it's not going to raise any red flags as to why she sent Brienne. You know what I mean? She has guards already, so it's not like, you know, she's going to be unprotected. So, and also, it also serves the purpose of having Brienne be with Jaime again. You know. I mean, it serves two purposes, right? So it also serves the purpose of having Brienne be with Jaime again. And I don't know if Brienne's present might be the catalyst to kind of, I don't know, set Jaime on the right path. I don't know, but that's all I'll add. I think both of you nailed the nail on the head. So
yeah, but no matter what, you know, being a dumbass better than the golden dumbass. No one will ever take that title. But I thought AK would be back by now, but I'm pretty sure she'll say Sansa's being dumb. Littlefinger needs to die. And I just hope that they wrap up the North scene. There's some type of resolution to what's going on, because this whole back and forth, it just seemed pointless, because we know this other thing when the real threat is, you know, on both sides. So it's just like, whatever. But moving from Dragonstone, and Dragonstone I thought was pretty interesting, because, you know, Dany and Tyrion are talking about succession, because Dany's been doing a lot of reckless things, just jumping out there, going in the head into action. You know, she almost lost her life the last time when they were fighting the battle of Fire 2.0. I guess that's what people call it. Almost lost the dragon because the arrow barely missed her, and Tyrion was there to witness that. So it makes sense that he's like, okay, you're kind of reckless with react instead of sit down and think it through, and we need to have a plan for this world you're trying to build. And even if Dany lives a long life, this still is a conversation that needs to be had, because the world that she wants to build is not going to be built in her lifetime. It might be built in a few lifetimes. And I think, as much as she keeps saying that she wants to break this will, it seems like she just wants to be the only one on the will than for it to be broken at all. And Tyrion made a good point that, you know, you claim that you want to break this will, but you're acting like, you know, Aegon the Conqueror, who built the will. And it was a good point. And she gets upset about that, and she's like, you know, are you conspiring against me? Like, she's getting a little tense, like, are you really going against me? Like, all you're doing is trying to look out for your family, which I think to some extent he was, but he was making good valid points about that, and that he brought up good points about having elections more than just having a birthright, to be the person who gets chosen to lead people instead of just being born into it. So, Beauty Queen, what do you think about the whole conversation between Dany and Tyrion?
I really enjoyed that part of the show, and I agree with you. I think Tyrion did bring up a lot of. I think it was a necessary conversation to have. It's kind of like talking about a will. Like most people don't want to talk about having a will because it kind of makes you have to face mortality, and a lot of people don't want to talk about the fact that they may die, but you need to have, as a ruler, you have to understand that that is part of, that is something that may occur. And what are you putting in place in order to make sure that your legacy remains? And I don't think that what Tyrion was saying was totally out of line. And it's interesting that they bring up this whole thing with succession, because we're getting this slow build reveal about John's identity. And she talks about how she needs to have it, she doesn't have an heir. And he talks about, well, there's something that you can do in order to be able to choose who replaces you. But in effect, once the truth is revealed, and it's revealed to the both of them, at least in my brain, and I may be alone in this, and I don't know if that's where the show is going with this. It could be that once it's revealed what their relationship is, like that is actually her nephew, it wouldn't be too far off for her to name John as her successor, right? And I'll talk. I guess I'll talk more about that when we talk about their ending scene. But it just seems so interesting to me how they mentioned this whole succession thing. And to me, it just seemed, it would make sense to me that is the natural flow of things, because she doesn't have any children, and the prospects of her not of having children are not going to be there. And something that Jorah said to John when they were having their conversation, I know we're not there yet, but and I don't want to skip ahead, but just to put into context where I'm going, when they had the conversation about Longclaw, and Jorah gives him, may it, serve you well and your children after you. I just thought that that was very interesting. And so, but Dany can't have kids, her dragons are her kids, but that doesn't mean that she doesn't have an heir. Her nephew could be her heir, which is John. So I think that them bringing the whole succession thing, I think there's a reason behind that. And this may be the reason why they're doing it, because of this slow reveal that this is gonna, that they're eventually gonna learn this, have this revelation to them. And so this will play a big part in that. I think Tyrion was right, also right in that she does have a temper. You know what I mean? She does have a temper, and she needs to check her temper sometimes. Like she becomes impulsive when she's angry, and so she just does things. Sometimes she just needs to, sometimes it may be to her benefit to kind of, take take counsel. You don't necessarily have to do what what they say, but sometimes it may serve the purpose of helping you to calm down a little bit, and kind of reevaluate the decisions that you're making. And so, and I think that's just immaturity on just a slight bit of immature in her, because what she did was she decided to clap Tyrion about Dorne and about Highgarden, which is deflecting the point that he's trying to make. You know what I mean? So instead, you fall back to being, to being catty. You know what I mean? And you're not really listening to the point that he's trying to make, and it's a valid point to make. As a ruler, this is something that you really need. In any rule, once you become ruler, one of the main things that you have to think about is who is going to succeed you, right? Because you want to be able to maintain your legacy. And I don't think that he was that far out of line. So I'm going to stop now because I might ramble.
But I love it when you ramble, so don't stop. But B, what do you think about not Jorah, because we ain't there. See, you already got me skipping ahead. What do you think about the whole Dany and Tyrion talking about the succession and the whole conversation they had at Dragonstone?
I think that whole the whole scene was definitely a setup for the whole John succeeding Danny after he kills her, and or them having a child, because they kept it was the whole succession and then baby thing throughout the episode. So I think John succeeding and them having a baby is something that is like being foreshadowed throughout that scene right there. I am gonna go ahead, and it could be because I'm a Leo, whatever. I feel that Danny had a good point here. Okay, yes, you don't want to be a part of the wheel. You don't want to be Aegon the Conqueror, but the reality is she is. She has 3 dragons and she's coming to take over Westeros. So she has to be a conqueror. Like, it's what she has to do in order to rule. She can't just roll up, and act nicely for the throne. Kind of like Elena said, she has to be a dragon. So I think he's wrong there. Additionally, she asked him, "Are we setting any traps?" You know, she's not saying, should we go in and burn King's Landing? She's saying, are we fully prepared to have this parlay with your ridiculously crazy sister? And he's basically telling her, nah, dog, we're not. We're just going to walk into the lion's den with absolutely no protection because my brother said we'll be okay. And that's not acceptable. You're supposed to be protecting a queen. If you're protecting a queen, how exactly are you going to tell her that there's absolutely no plan for her safety? So I honestly think that she has a point, and she has a reason to be miffed, because he should have said that there are some traps, because damn sure Cersei is laying some for you. He even says it himself. Cersei's laying traps for you, no doubt, and wondering about the traps you're laying for her, which you're not laying. But you wouldn't want to lay any because you don't want to be like Aegon. Yeah, I do. The hell I do. I want to come out of this alive, and I want to end up ruling. So I do think that he was a little bit wrong there. In addition, um, the second part of that, when she gets up and starts, walking away on him, he talks, to your point, Naro, about her biting back at him when he talks about her being impulsive. I don't think that she was impulsive. I think that her actions were necessary. The Tarleys needed to burn. They stood up, and then your son, because you taught him to be stupid with honor, like Ned, decided to stand up too. You didn't get a maester's education. Don't you know what happens when dragons come to Westeros and they decide to conquer? If you don't kneel, you burn. That was kind of like the thing. She kind of told you that's exactly what was going to happen, and you made your decision. So I think that if she didn't take that route, if she wasn't Sun Tzu in that situation, then she would have ended up coming out on the bottom. So it was the best thing for Danny, honestly and truly, to burn him. I don't think she was wrong at all. And then as far as seeing things from your enemy standpoint, yes, you should see things from your enemy standpoint, because you want to be able to outmaneuver them. But I'm sorry, I think that Tyrion's being too soft on the Lannisters because of his brother. I think the way that he feels about Jaime is clouding his judgment, and so he's not able to say, this is what we should do, and these are the traps that we should set. He's not thinking straight about Cersei. Maybe he's been away from her for too long, but I think that Danny has every right to be upset and every right to be pissed off at him. Now, as far as the succession goes, she should be speaking to him about that. And he brought up a lot of great points about, we succeed this way in Westeros, but the Iron Islands have this way. Everybody has a way to succeed. I think it's important for her, but by that point, honestly and truly, like, I'd have been pissed off too, because Tyrion, you are the reason why I lost my allies. If I would have gone to King's Landing and just burnt the damn thing, I'd probably be sitting on the Iron Throne right now. And that's the truth. And arguably, how many people live in King's Landing? Possibly less people would have died in her taking the Iron Throne than they did on the Field of Fire 2.0. So, end rant.
I love it, girl. So yeah, I agree with what you said. Danny does have a point, but I do think that Tyrion had a point. I do think that it's Jaime that's making Tyrion kind of be a little softer in his tactics to go against Cersei, because especially for he looked like fearing for his life and actually rooting for his brother, even though he was like, flee, you idiot. But I agree with what you said. Hey, Case, what do you think about the whole not Sansa girl? What do you think about the Danny and Tyrion conversation they had at Dragonstone?
I think he needs to get his act together. I mean, I can't say too much because I just came in with Lady D and she said everything. Danny does need to curb her temper a little bit, but at the same time, if she would have went a different route than what Tyrion put her on, things could have been differently. Things could have been different. Sorry, but I can't say anything else more that Brittany didn't say. I agree on everything.
She does that shit all the time, but I love it.
Now
we love that beautiful mind.
Keep it coming.
Mind. Yeah, but don't worry because this was kind of like a scene. We want to talk about the fucking action, don't we? Want to go beyond the wall. Fuck all this bullshit, north, south, because it really doesn't matter. Let's talk about the north and beyond the wall. So, what did you think overall about conversations that they had? We had Jorah and John talk, even John giving back Longclaw, but Jorah saying, no, give this to your son or your children. And John feels a certain way about not having bastards. But we also got Tormund and the Hound having a conversation. In fact, they were my favorites. We got an interesting scene with the whole White Walkers and that weird White Walker that they killed, and then that white that didn't go down with the rest of them. I'm so curious to what y'all have to say about that. So, AK, I want to get your thoughts about. We're just going to have an open discussion about.
Well, first, my new favorite bromance is Tormund and the Hound. Their whole exchange was absolutely hilarious, and I loved it.
Yes.
Let's see. The Hound, when they were after all that action and they were waiting for the ice to see how long the ice would freeze, I guess. He over there trying to get target practice and inadvertently let them know that it was cool for them to walk on the ice. Bad move.
Wanted to smack the dog shit out of him for that.
And also with the whites now, it seems like they may have some type of personality on their own, because the one that he hit, once that ice froze, he was gunning straight for the Hound. So does that mean that they are thinking for themselves or partially in some way or form? Because we've not seen behavior like that from them before. So I'm interested to see where that whole thing is going to go. And Tormund, I was scared for my boy's life. I thought he was a goner, but luckily they saved him. That scene was just a bit stressful. Do you want to go into dragons too?
Let's just talk about I should have broken this down, but y'all know I'm getting kind of lazy right now. B, what did you think about the beginning of the Beyond the Wall scene? So just, the small conversations they had before, and then also kind of the White Walker scene when they first attacked them. But just to that scene.
Okay, so it's like a few things, right? So first off, the Hound saying he hates gingers. Like after the Sansa scene, it literally cuts to the Hound and Tormund and the Hound saying that he hates gingers, which I think is hilarious. It's like, oh, I hate Sansa.
Because you love one. But keep going. I thought that was funny.
So I think that the banter between Tormund and the Hound was great. That was cool. Barrack and John was cool. I thought the little nugget about you don't look like your father, you must favor your mother was hilarious. I was like, his mom. Barrack, I'm really trying to figure out if he actually knows what he's talking about or if he's just like saying crap. As far as you won't get too much joy or whatever. I do think that the foreshadowing with John having a child again was there and present in all of these scenes too. With him and Jorah, where Jorah says, I, keep the sword and I hope that it serves you and your children after you. And then when Barrack tells him that we won't get much joy, that makes me think of the Tower of Joy and automatically of a kid. So it was like, okay, well, here's that theme again, going throughout those themes. The fight, or what we were calling, or the ambush, I think this was clearly a setup. Like from the time that they started getting attacked, like it just looked like a setup to me. That bear, when it first starts to attack, does it look like it's two to anybody else?
They look like what?
It's two bears.
No, I thought it was just one.
All right, when you're looking at it, it's like one bear off in the distance, and dude is walking towards it, and then he's running from it, and the bear is behind him, and then all of a sudden it comes from the side.
Yeah, I thought that bear scared the shit out of me, but I think they made it seem like you couldn't really see the wind and all of the snow. But yeah, I noticed the angles, but they only show one bear attacking.
So if it is only one bear, then cool. If it's not, then I'm like, all right, so they got like century bears, you know, like out, like if you had outriders or something like that, but instead you can control bears. It's almost like they had an early warning system, because right after that, when they get up to that ridge and they look over, they all say the same. Well, not all say the same thing, but they all have like a similar thought, like, oh, there they are. And John says immediately, like, where's the rest of them? The Hound saw thousands going towards Eastwatch. Bran saw thousands going towards Eastwatch. When Bran flew over with the ravens, he saw thousands going towards Eastwatch. When he had the vision, he saw thousands. So it's like, how did they just break up into this tiny contingent with this one White Walker and all of these other little whites? To me, it seemed like they were almost waiting for there to be an ambush, waiting for there to be a fight of some sort so that they could get that dragon. I'll go through it when we get to the actual fighting part with the dragon, but the whole way it was from them coming down and them killing that White Walker, and it's cool because we got to learn things like, all right, you kill one White Walker, you'll kill all the whites, and it's smart that they would have a white in each White Walker contingent that didn't belong to that White Walker, so that it could sound an alarm, kind of like it did. But it just seemed really, really convenient that they were all just sitting there chilling out, waiting to attack and push them towards this rock in the middle of this lake like this. And then they sat there and waited. Like, they bring the storm with them, guys. Why didn't the Night King just freeze the freaking lake over? Excuse me. Why didn't the Night King just have all the whites go into the lake and just like pile on top of each other? How come when the lake froze over, they didn't all attack at the same time, but instead sort of attacked in waves? How come no one ever attacked the back of the damn rock? There were just so many questions that I had about the fight and what was going on. It just didn't seem right. It seemed like they were waiting for that dragon to get there so that they could take it. Now I'm gonna stop rambling.
No, it's interesting. We'll definitely get into what?
I say he did have those huge ass chains at the ready for some reason. That's some really good thoughts there, B.
But before we get into that, Beauty Queen, what do you think about the beginning? So basically the little short conversations and them first attacking the White Walker.
Forgive me if I get a little long-winded. I appreciated the conversation with Tormund-isms when they were first walking, and him, Gendry, and John, and because Gendry has never been north before, and of course Tormund dropped some Tormund-isms, and I thought I like the way that whole sequence of events, you have different groups and different people talking, because it's a way for them to kind of get to know each other, because they come from different places, and now they're getting ready to fight with each other. And the only way you usually fight with someone is you have to have a stake. I don't know if that makes sense, but you have to build a level of relationship and trust in order for you to be able to fight for someone and to save someone's life. And I like that they actually showed that these men were actually talking and getting to know each other, to kind of build some sort of a rapport. and I appreciated that part of it. I like the conversation between John and Jorah, especially with respect to Longclaw. And like B mentioned, I just thought that it was very interesting to me how Jorah ended that conversation with him saying that I hope it serves you well and your children after you. I thought that that was a very, very poignant thing I mean, just a very interesting thing to say to John, knowing that John is a bastard. And even though he was named king in the north, he's still not a legitimate, he still hasn't been legitimized. So I think that is kind of foreshadowing that his legitimacy is forthcoming, and that he will have a line of succession. I like I did like Tormund and the Hound's exchange. And I love the way that he talked about Brianna Tarth. To me, that was like a very special moment for me. The way that he said that he wants to make babies with her so they could have monsters and they would rule the world. And I also appreciated the conversation between John and Beric, because the both of them kind of share, they share something in that they both were raised from the dead by the Lord, by the Lord priests. And so they kind of share something. And I think Beric being a little bit more experienced because he's had the experience on more than one occasion. And even after having those many experiences, he still didn't have the answers that John was looking for. Bethany, I'm talking. I can't talk over you.
Auntie mode.
I'll get you some. Okay?
Don't beat the baby. Please don't beat the baby.
Just give me a second. I'll get you some more. So I think that John needed to have. I think John needed that because up until that point he was alone in. That is he was alone in that experience, and I think him having that conversation with Beric, I think kind of gives him some. I don't know if I want to call it inner peace, but it kind of gives him some sort of God. I don't know what the word escapes me. I had it in my head, but it settles like any other questions or doubts that he probably may have been feeling about why did he come back, why was he here. I think Beric kind of answers it, kind of puts it in the frame that what does it really matter why you came back? You're back because you have something that you're supposed to do. That is why you're back, and we just need to fulfill that. You don't need to worry about all of the other particulars because those things really don't matter, And I think there was some sort of a resolve within John when he, after having that conversation with Beric, which you kind of see in his face, and which kind of furthers on as to the actions that he takes further on in the episode. That first scene with the bear attack, let me tell y'all, my heart was just in my throat with Thoros. I was like, is that bear eating him? I don't know what's going on. Oh my God, so freaky. He's just, and everybody just looks like they're standing around looking at this thing go down until freaking Jorah steps in. I was like, oh my God, what's going on here? And I was like, I guess he's the one that's gonna bite it. You know what I mean? And I agree. I agree with both Brittany and with AK in that it just seemed too perfect how everything was just perfectly done, and it just seems so weird that after they catch the white they killed one White Walker, which destroys all of the whites that were around him. So I can agree with John in that he was probably the one that turned them. But the one white, he didn't die. So of course that means that he wasn't the one that was turned by that White Walker. But yet he lets out a screech, and I'm like, oh my goodness, he's sending out some sort of a beacon, because as soon as he lets out that screech, the freaking horde is coming. You know what I mean? And I also agree with, it just seems so interesting it just seemed interesting that they just stopped short of when the ice breaks. You know what I mean? It's kind of like they just all sitting there playing the waiting game. It just seems so weird, because the ice broke in the front. It didn't break in the back. So they could have totally just went around. And I think I'm gonna have to agree with Brittany in that, I think it was just a waiting game, because maybe the Night King had a vision that this exact scenario was gonna take place, because he is more than likely a green seer, and that a dragon was gonna come forth, because he had his weapons on the ready in order to take that dragon out. You know what I mean? He had it on the ready. Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and leave. It was one of those. It was a very intense moment with that freaking bear, yo. I was just like, oh my god, my heart, my chest. I don't know.
I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna put my tinfoil hat on, because I'm about to sound crazy as shit right now. But just hear me out, because I was just looking way too hard at this scene. So, Walker, right? And all of them go down except for this one. Now, here's where I sound crazy. But once again, hear me out. And just remember, I say a lot of crazy shit, and half the time I'm wrong, but let me live. Okay, don't be Sansa's out there. Thank you. Okay, so this is what I think went down. So they killed the White Walker, and all of them go down except for that one. That White Walker slipped into that other last dead white or whatever it was, and that's probably why it was screeching. Because later on we see that they keep trying to get this white, and that's never really been seen. It doesn't make sense, but I'm jumping ahead. But I'm just going to say, hold on to that thought at the possibility. And remember, I say crazy random shit all the time, so let me live. I think that White Walker that they killed slipped into that white that they captured and is taking over the wall. But AK also has some thoughts from Timo. So AK, let them know what Timo thinks about the conversations up until the first time that they killed the White Walker scene.
She's basically was agreeing with what you guys were saying about it being a setup, like, and she's thinking, she says, if the Night King set this whole thing up, what does that mean with Bran? Either he's connected to him and his visions, or did this prove the Night King was a green seer? So did he tap into Bran to figure out what was going to happen, or did he see it himself and made plans accordingly? And also, shout out to Milady Aaron Water 365 in the chat room. Smooches.
Oh, later. Is she gone?
No, but she will be in a little bit.
Well, hey. But yeah, I agree with all you guys. Another thing I didn't mention was I did enjoy Torment and the Hound scene together. It's like, oh, what you want? Suck my dick? And he's like, dick. I bet you do. I love that. I love a good dick joke, guys. I call me childish, but I just do. But I like the fact that he says, you have sad eyes, and that he sees that. Because the Hound's like a grumpy guy, but he's a sweetheart on the inside, because he protected Arya and he also protected Sansa. So he has a sweet side. No matter how mean he wants to be, he cares for him. Even to his dying, when he thought he was dead, he told go with Brienne, she will protect you. So he's like a soft giant, but I love that, you know, Tormund was basically poking the bear and like messing with him the whole time. Also, what else? I did enjoy the whole conversation between I was about to call him Euron, Beric and Jon, especially when he's like, you won't find any happiness in this life. But the thing is that when they were talking, Jon says, yeah, because, you know, I am the shield that protects men. And later on, that's exactly what Jon becomes, the shield to protect them. But I think they threw out that line because those are part of the lines of the Night's Watch. And once again, my random ass theory, because they have captured this, I'm going to say it's a White Walker. Because they captured this, I have a feeling that this might be part of the reason why the wall will come down, because it seems like they can't come through the wall, but if a Night's Watch brings them in, then it changes it up, because it's kind of like in the books with Sam letting having to say the words to open up the gate. Thought, let me live. But I just want you guys to keep this in mind, because I have a few other thoughts, but that's towards the later on in the episode, which let's just talk about now, because later on when the White Walker screech, I think Jon's the only one to first notice it, but he sees that storm coming and everyone looks up and Jon's like, pill when keeping it real goes wrong. And it was that moment, and you could pause it, Jon. You see the storm in the background. Jon just looks like, oh, yes, you fucking did. Leroy Jenkins it a fucking again. Because then after that, we see that they're just chasing them, and this is where I'm like, of course this plan was going to go wrong, because it's only 12 of y'all and a zillion of them happen. And so they find themselves in a situation where they're running, they run on a rock. The White Walker starts to like drop, and I think this is kind of like what might happen in the books with Stannis poking the holes in the lakes, that this is what possibly will happen. Who knows? Pat?
I wrote that exact thing down. I'm like, oh, this is the Battle of the Ice.
Oh, because you're my twin, duh. Of course you have great thoughts. And basically, I'm not going to just say everything we saw because you guys saw it. So let's just wrap it up. Dany comes in, saves the day. We lose the dragon, and all shit breaks down, because after that, we get a resurrected dragon. Now, I'm going to go with AK first, and also mix in Timo's thoughts. What did you think about the the back end where everything really goes down? We have the whites basically attacking them. All hell seems to be lost, and then Dany swoops in at the last minute. Jon is a miracle baby because he survives hypothermia, and we lose a dragon. Like, let's just talk about it.
Okay, I'm gonna toss out Timo's thoughts first. One thing she noticed is the Night King walked through Dragonfire. Could he be immune to it? Let's see. Let's talk about the setup. Night King, he came ready with 3 ice spears. So I think it seems like he might have been planning on killing a dragon. Let's see. There's one other thing she had. So, do you want to go like to the death of Viserion, or do you want to hold off on that?
Yeah, I just want to. We're at the back end of the episode, and I do want to still save time for us to just geek out and talk about what we think is going to happen in season finale. So let's just talk about everything else that happened. Dragons dying, Jon jumping, saving, trying to save everyone. Dany saving everyone. Jorah. Oh, God, you know what? We were so close.
Almost got
he almost, and I was so upset that Tormund was the one to save him. Like, if you don't start wiggling, it's time to let go. Like, that was the moment George should just let go, okay, and let live. No, it's not. Is it? Let me shut up. Anyway,
Timo's last thought was, did you notice how gingerly the Night King touched the dragon? It reminded her how almost caring he seemed with the baby that we saw him with from Craster's. So, there's more to the Night King than evil death guy. Same as how Dany treats her dragons as her kids. She wonders how the Night King thinks of the ones that he's turned in the same way, which is interesting. And for me, I don't know, I kind of saw a dragon dying. Like something had to happen to really neutralize Dany a little bit, and losing one of her dragons was that thing. You know, when I saw the huge spear, I thought it was just like a ice greatsword, but then he went into that javelin pose, and I was like, oh well, Viserion's about to die. I didn't think it would be any of the dragons but Viserion, because the other two I think will be more bonded to Dany and Jon. Let's see. There was Renee had asked, Renee of House Stark, always an awesome viewer. She had posted something in Throne Life, thinking that Longclaw's eyes on the hilt of Jon's sword blinked at some point. I didn't think that's what happened. It looked like it was just like a reflection off the shiny eye, but who knows? It could actually be significant later on. Jon has extremely thick and apparently warm plot armor, because that fall through the ice should have done him in again, but it didn't. He managed to climb back out. I don't know, I almost feel like the Night King should have went after Drogon before shooting at Viserion, because Drogon actually landed. He was like right there and stationary, but for whatever reason he took Viserion. I think there's more of a reason behind it, but that's more tinfoil, so I don't know what's going to come of that. But is him having a dragon going to allow him to more easily get past the wall? You know, the wall has magical spells, but dragons are magical creatures, so maybe that helps neutralize it. I don't know. There's too much we don't know about the Night King to really see exactly what his motivations are, and that's what I really want to get into. Hopefully that we get some answers in the finale and we don't have to wait until next year.
I don't see them having us wait that long. Like, for and all this other stuff, I feel like, yeah, they're going to give us something good. And I think next episode is like 80 or 90 minutes. So Beauty Queen, I'm curious, what do you think about the rest of the scenes behind the wall? Not Drogon. I forgot what dragon died. Shot. There you go. He gets shot. Up on the rock. Night King's tactics. Whatever you want to talk about. The rest of the scenes.
What?
Okay, so let me just say, okay, I'm not going to talk about all of the fighting and stuff. R.I.P. to Thoros. You know what I mean? You know,
he saved the hound.
Yeah, he's been around for a minute, and he has, you know, served his purpose, and I hope he reaches wherever the Lord of Light is going to take him, that he gets safe passages. So rest in peace, Thoros. The Night King killing Viserion. Like, the minute that I saw him take that ice pole, I was like, yo, he about to kill him, yo. He about to get him a dragon. Oh, perfect. Absolutely perfect. And that's exactly what happened. I kind of felt bad for Dany at that moment, because, you know, she had that look, oh my God, my baby, but they didn't have time to think about that. I thought it was also kind of, you know, I mean, the way that Jon sent them off, you know, when everybody had climbed up and he told them to go, like he was kind of like the last stand. It's just me, okay? And I need y'all to forgive me, but I was getting a lot of Lord of the Ring flashbacks when I was watching a lot of these scenes. That particular scene reminded me of when when Aragorn and told Frodo to run when all of the orcs were coming.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but that's what it reminded me of. I was like, oh my God, Aragorn and Frodo. He was like, go, go. I would have followed you into the hells of Mordor. It's like, oh my God, perfect. And also another Aragorn moment was when he came out of the water The only thing he was missing was a beautiful woman kissing him when he came out the water. He got Benjen instead. And I guess they needed to kind of finish off the Benjen arc, because if they didn't, they would have just had him in purgatory, like what happened to Benjen. And I don't think they were trying to do another Gendry thing. So the only thing that I just didn't agree with was, yeah, John should have been dead. Like, he should have been dead from hypothermia, or he should have had frostbite where he couldn't move. Like, yeah, but if they were going to bring Benjen, they probably should have brought Benjen around just after he came out of the water, or they should have shown Benjen pulling him out of the water, something like that. I mean, it just seemed like there was a really strong, there was like a long stretch of time between him getting out of the water and him like trying to walk and trying to make his last stand, like the last hero or something. And then Benjen, like one of the children of the forest, comes over and like, you know, saves him. But that also had Lord of the Rings reminders to me. And then the way he comes up on the horse is kind of like Aragorn coming up on the horse, coming into him to rope. I'm sorry. That's all I kept thinking about was, yo, that's the same thing that happened. Yo, that's how Aragorn reached Helm's Deep to tell them about what was happening. Anyways, yeah. But another thing that really bugged me, why didn't they go to Winterfell? I mean, he's right there. Like, he's right there. Why did they put him on a boat to go down to Dragonstone? Why not take him to Winterfell I was like, oh my God, why are they putting so many degrees of separation between Jon and the North? I don't understand what the purpose is for that. Maybe somebody else who's smarter than me would know, but I just didn't get it. Like, he's right there at the wall. I mean, he's right there at the wall. The closest place would have been to just take him home, for him to have gone home. But no, they put him on a boat to take him back south. Whatever. But are we going all the way to the ending scene?
No, not just yet.
Okay, I'm gonna leave it at that.
All right, T had to step away for a sec. Go ahead, B. What you got?
Okay. So I'm like through the rest of that White Walker fight scene, and then like down to Jon. Like,
hey, Brittany, your volume's a little bit low.
All right, so let me put on my headphones. Can you hear me now?
No, it still needs to be a bit higher.
Higher.
You know,
higher still.
There you go.
Okay, so guys, taking it back through the whole fight scene and then to Jon coming out of the hypothermia pool, there were like a few key things that stood out, like, okay, that you guys didn't say it. I was like, okay, cool. I do agree about the whole one White Walker like raising the alarm, and I thought that was kind of cool. One white raising the alarm, and I thought that was kind of cool because that white must have been turned by somebody else. I think that's what that is. I think that white was just turned by another White Walker, but it's a very cool idea to think that a White Walker jumped into that white and then it'll go to south. If that's the case, then it could jump into other people, which is even scarier. The whites definitely seem to be sentient, to your point, AK, because they are the one white, when he's outnumbered and they all are circling him, like, he's fully aware that he's outnumbered. He doesn't just try to attack them senselessly. He definitely like sits there like, crap, like, I'm outnumbered. And then all these other whites, once they get on the rock, they do try to untie him. Thing about like the fact that they can think, that they're sentient. And then I thought it was crazy that Gendry could really like just run back to Eastwatch like that. I get that they're like a half day's walk, but dang, he's like really not even from up there. He just ran back to Eastwatch. That is what annoyed me. So let me just go ahead. As far as the fighting with the dragons, I think that it was like that because this whole thing was a setup. I know I mentioned it kind of a little bit earlier, but I think like the whole purpose of this attack, of this battle, was to get a dragon. And I think that they knew that they were going to get a dragon. And I think that they targeted Viserion because that's the dragon that whoever had the vision saw. It was just very calculated and very simple. They just sat there, they waited, they were on a high ridge, you know, and they just took them out, and they brought exactly 3 spears. They had 2 swords. In the event that we get 3 dragons, that'll be great. But I think they saw Viserion, so that's why they took him. As far as Jon coming up out of the water, I think that, and this is tinfoil, guys. Put on your tinfoil hat, drink something, because this is a lot, and I'm just gonna be totally honest. This is a lot. I saw that sword and I was like, no, the eyes didn't do it. That's the reflection. That's the round. But then I had to slow it down, go out frame. I'm like, well, wait a minute. There's snow around it this whole time, and the eyes aren't white on it. Why are the eyes white on it now and then turn black? Like, why? What is it? And so there's 2 like tinfoil theories that came with this. One, the eyes in the hilt on the show, and this is show, not book, right, seem to be of dragon glass. They're black. What if they could act as dragon glass candles and someone could see Jon? And that's what we were seeing. So there was that. Because it's like, well, where did the white come from? Because it looks like the sword is warped. And it's not like his hand is on the other side of the sword for it to change color to the eye that we see. So how is it changing color with him just hopping out of the water like that? I feel like something has to be happening independent with the sword. I know that the director said that that they don't know what we're talking about, but I think that's total BS. When you look at that sword, something is happening. The alternate theory is that Jon died, resurrected. When you look back at that scene and Dany is riding away on the dragon, if you look at, and I said I'm going to do this, and so like, I don't have a definitive, I didn't have enough time, I'm going to do this, but look at that aerial view, guys. The way that the whites are sort of like spiraling out from the center, it looks Children of the Foresty symboly view of like how it looks, like the spiral, like it looks Children of the Foresty. And then we see Jon hop out of the pool with the eyes changing on the hilt. And I think that it's possible that Jon died and the sword resurrected him. So there's my tinfoil. Accept it if you will, but it's those 2. If the sword has dragon glass in the eyes, then it can see, and that explains how Benjen was summoned, because somebody warped the sword or saw what was going on and sent Benjen for help. If not, then is it possible that when Jon's life force gets dim, the sword resurrects him? Because I can't think of a reason why Jon would have been able to make it out of a lake in furs, completely soaked in ice water, after being tackled by 2 whites who are on top of him, wrestling them off, getting out of a pool of ice water, and then stumbling out of it. Like, and he's not dead, unless he did die and he was resurrected. He had the same type of gasp that he did last time he was resurrected. I know he was coming out of the water, but the parallels are really strong for me. So I wonder if Jon can't die now, if he just, the Lord of Light needs him, so he just keeps getting resurrected.
That is a very, very interesting.
So, yeah.
I feel like Longclaw just turned
into.
Damn it! What's the name of that sword? The Sword of Gryffindor. It takes control and comes when it's summoned with its magical powers and whatnots.
I actually digged what she was saying.
Yeah.
Just type that into our private conversation, what I'm supposed to look at again, because I want to definitely check that out. But I had on, I'm loving this right now. So remember I said that up, and I think that possibly a White Walker skin changed into that white. I think they didn't go for Drogon is because that white was actually on them, and if he was to attack them, they might have ended up something might have happened to that white, because when they were fighting off the whites were also trying to grab that white back. And we also noticed that the Hound, when he kicked them, a lot of them were like screaming, and that's never really happened. And I think it's because he was still, of the army, because I don't think that the Night King controls all of them. Like, I never really did. And I think the Night King's also losing numbers, because we have to remember that Craster's dead, so he's not giving away sons anymore. And Sam's already killed a White Walker. John's killed 2 now. I think the Night King's in a situation where he can't really afford to lose so many White Walkers, and that's why it was important to keep that one. But then it could also be that they need that White Walker to go across the wall, and the only way that was really going to happen is if someone from the Night's Watch, who said the vows. Oh, because in my opinion, the Night's Watch, they had like original vows, and then they added on as time went on. So I'm thinking that, and remember, y'all have to let me live, because I like being under the, you know what, we have not done this in a very long time. Let's go down that rabbit hole, okay? It's fun down there. Weird shit happens. Let's just go down there. So this is what I'm thinking is happening. I do see B's point where, like, I do believe the Night King is a green seer. So it wouldn't surprise me if he saw a vision of him actually killing I'm not sure if he knew that that was the one, but maybe he had a flash of a vision of the dragon actually dying. But it goes back to, I question, like, why wouldn't you take them when they're right there? And I think it's because it has to do with that white. That white was also controlling a lot the dead, because when, like I said, when the Hound kicked that white, you could hear them all screeching and crying. And then even as they're getting attacked, like, they keep trying to grab this white, and it doesn't make sense, because we've seen plenty of, just in this scene where they were fighting and killing whites, and you didn't see them trying to help another white out, but for some reason you're helping this one. And someone told me that this white didn't have like the little blue eyes that shows that, they've been controlled. And the fact that it was still moving when all of them had fell down makes me think it did skin change, and that this one was an important White Walker because he had these abilities. Tinfoil out there, but when they get trying to,
real quick, that might fit in with what B was saying, wondering where the rest of the White Army was. They got that one White Walker, and if he's controlling a portion of the army, maybe they couldn't move anymore because he's dead.
Or he was injured, because remember, they put the bag over his head so he couldn't see, but he was also tied up. And I think he was in pain because, like I said, when he kicked it, a lot of them went down. And so I think that even though they think this is a victory, it's now evidence that white, I think it's going to probably be part of the reason why the wall will go down, because they let it through the wall. Because I think it was season 1 when they let the white down because they wanted to show proof. Night's Watch walked it in. It wasn't like it just came in on its own. So I think it has something to do with Watch having to actually bring you in. And I think this is going to be a downfall. B seems to have dropped out, but I think she's going to pop back up again. We did want to talk about predictions. So what we're going to do now, Beauty Queen, I want you to exit out the chat room now. And I want you to give us your thoughts, because I want people to know that Beauty Queen doesn't look at the previews. She just watches it. So I'm curious what she thinks might possibly happen next. And then she's going to say goodbye to us. And then we're just going to geek out on what we think is going to possibly happen next. So Beauty Queen, what do you think is going to happen in the next episode?
Just based on what happened this time around, I think we'll probably get an actual John possibly actually bending the knee to to Dany, since he already said that he would from their ending scene. So I think possibly that he may officially do that when he gets on his feet. At least that's what I'm thinking would happen. I think we'll see Brienne making it to King's Landing. I think we'll see. I know we're gonna have to see Sam, and we're gonna have to see Bran. My guess is Sam is either gonna end up home at Horn Hill, or he's gonna end up in Dragonstone, or he's gonna go straight to Winterfell. Those are the three places I can see him ending up. Horn Hill would probably be the closest, and where he'll probably learn of his brother and his father's death. Dragonstone, probably because he'll know that Jon is there, and he'll probably want to go with Jon, and that's probably they'll come across that book that Gilly was reading, and that's how they'll find out about Jon's parentage and how he's related to Dany. I could see that happening, or he may go to Winterfell. That's just like my last. That'd just be my last thing that he does. Possible places he may end up. What else did I mention? Bran. I think Bran is gonna get probably another vision with respect to the wall coming down, probably, and I don't know. They haven't really shown him having visions in with respect to how they did last season. Like, they were showing you his flashbacks. You just see him in vision mode. But I wonder if this will be the one where everybody will see the tourney of the hand. I think that's what everybody was talking about, that that they'll see a vision or a flashback of the tourney of the hand. Maybe this might be the episode that he has that vision. Who knows? I think there might be some sort of a showdown between Littlefinger and the two Stark girls. There might be some sort of a showdown somewhere in there. I don't know if Tyrion and Dany will make it to King's Landing this season. I think they may. I think they may plan to make their way down there, but something will interrupt that. Like, it won't happen. Or I know there's going to be some sort of a cliffhanger until next season. So I'm thinking that the cliffhanger is going to be the Night King riding Viserion over the wall. And that's all I can think of right now.
Nah, I love that. I love that. Okay, so I want you to tell everyone where they can find you. And because we are going to talk a little bit about what we saw in the trailers for the next episode, and I don't want you to be spoiled. So let them know where they can find you.
First, I want to thank everybody for coming and hanging out with us as we had this discussion. Always a great time hanging out with these ladies and just like geeking out over this wonderful story and listening to everybody's perspective, because it definitely opens your mind and makes your head spin and turn and give you food for thought. You can find me at Monaro Geek TV on the YT. And I'm usually somewhere on the interwebs. Not lately, but usually somewhere on the interwebs. You'll always catch me with with these ladies here. Thank you so much for listening to me ramble. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of this chat. Please be sure to subscribe to all of these wonderful ladies, because they do great things. And I will catch y'all in the next one.
Night, Monero.
Love you, Beauty Queen. Yeah, please check her out. She does awesome ginger ale chats. She does the reactions to the episode, and she also has a cool series where she reread the entire series over. So if you are interested in rereading the series, I do suggest you go to her channel. It'll be like you're reading it with her. So definitely check out Beauty Queen. And now let's talk about what might happen in the next episode. What do you think is possibly going to happen? No, before we even get to it, let's answer the questions that we had. Did we catch those? And if you do have any questions, let us know in the chat, and we'll try to grab as many as we can.
All right, you want me to read the first one?
Yeah, go ahead, because I can't find it, or it's not letting me scroll up.
All right, the first one was from DJ. Asked, what trap do you think Cersei will try on Dany, and also Tyrion especially? And I don't know exactly what she will do. She is definitely planning something. You know, Cersei thinks she's smart as hell, but she a dumbass just like her daddy and the rest of her family. So whatever happens, I think it might seem like it may go well for her, but we all know Cersei's plans always backfire on her in some way, shape, or form, and it's always something that hurts her greatly. So she's gonna do something. I don't know what. I don't think she'll try anything with poison, because I think she will want it to be a little more hands-on, so she gets that glory from it. But to what exactly she's gonna do, I can't call it just yet. But she is planning something.
Yeah. B, what do you think?
I don't trust Cersei. And that's why I was saying that I feel like Dany has a point, because I don't trust Cersei at all. I don't trust her as far as I could throw her in her ass as skinny. I don't trust her at all. I think we would all be fools to believe that Cersei Lannister is going to put the realm and people above herself. Like, she's get out of here. She's still gonna want to be queen. So I don't see when they meet, I don't see Cersei just giving in like that. I feel like Jamie set up this meeting, but Cersei did. You know what I'm saying? Cersei did not. Cersei agreed to come, probably to try to snag Dany, but she did not. You know, she did not agree to doing any of this, and I don't see her agreeing to do any of this. She's gonna stab everybody in the back as soon as she gets a chance to. Whether it's not sending the food up there or whatever, like, it's gonna be some major calamity that Cersei Lannister causes.
I think mine is going to be kind of random, but I think she's going to try to do a trial by combat where it's going to be kind of like how John said, you know, won't it just be one-on-one us fight? You know, if you won't fight for your people, why should they fight for you? So just instead of risking everyone's life, and I pick a champion and we end it that way. That's the vibes I'm getting, because Cersei says, you know, we're losing, and if we're going to win, we have to play like father. So I think she's going to do something slick like that because she doesn't have the numbers anymore. Yeah, so my thing is it's going to have to deal with something between the Mountain and the Hound. And I guess she's going to be like, this is my champion. I see it going down that way. And it will make Dany look kind of power hungry if she didn't go for that, just because it'll be like, oh, you just want to bring these, you know, foreigners in and destroy us all, where Cersei gives you this option where no one really has to die but, you know, one person. So she could use
then Dany needs to pick Drogon. I'm sorry, I was just like, I forgot it wasn't on me.
No,
I'm like,
I
Dany needs
think,
to pick Drogon then. Like, Drogon's my champion and burn it ass.
That would be just like what her father did. See, it's playing on Cersei wants people to think that Dany is just like her father. I mean, I'm pretty sure word is going to come back that she burnt father and son again. Like, it was the right thing to do. It just didn't look right. So I could see Cersei doing something like that to, you know, mess up her image. And if she gives an option to say, hey, let's just do it this way, And Danny's like, well, no, because out of the numbers, it's going to look bad. But yeah, I would pick Drogon too, but it wouldn't look good on her. So, and then of course, because we saw in the trailer that we did see the Hound down south look like he's fighting, and I wouldn't be surprised if that situation. I mean, it's a possibility. And then of course, I could be totally off. Do we have another question?
Yeah, our next one was from Spots. What's the major? What is the major event and or deaths that we'll see in the finale? What do you guys think?
B, what do you think?
Cersei's unborn child will die. If she is pregnant by Jaime Lannister, that thing is dead. She only gonna have 3 kids, golden are their crowns, golden are their shrouds. She ain't having it. Like, she's gonna have a miscarriage. That thing is dead. Or it's not dead already. And I know it's messed up, but here's my tinfoil thing. I think that Jon and Daenerys are gonna end up having a baby. So I don't know if it's blood magic or something that causes Cersei not to have the baby or to die, for it to die miscarriage, but it's like the whole death pays for life thing. So that's what I think of.
You
with
think
that.
That's going to happen in the next episode?
Yeah, she losing that baby because we've known she's pregnant for 2 episodes, and at this point, between this episode and the last episode, it's been a number of weeks, so many weeks that Sansa's beginning to get worried about Jon.
Okay, I see what you mean.
Like, he got the letter saying that Bran and them were back at Winterfell, and that they were marching on Eastwatch, and from that point on, he's been gone. It's been weeks. That means Cersei is, I'm saying, she's getting pretty close to the point where, this broad is about to hit the 2nd trimester. She got to get rid of that kid. Like, it's got to go soon. Or it's going to be like one of those, like, damn, like, So I just feel like for the show wise or whatever, that it has to die. It has to die soon. I think that Littlefinger is going to die. I want him to die this season. So if he doesn't die this season, he's going to die in the very first episode of next season. It's like he has got to. He's got to, because I'm telling y'all, on everything I love, Sansa is figuring him out. Sansa's figuring him out. And Arya, I just think it's really weird that she didn't notice him in that corner. Like, I feel like she knows. Like what you were saying, T, I agree with you wholeheartedly. Like, they are just trying to figure it out, but they're figuring it out independently and by themselves instead of together, like a pack. And that's what's going on. Like, and at some point, Bran, whatever, like, go into their dreams, something like somebody has to see something in him in the night or whatever. But it has to be, he has to die this season. And if he doesn't, then it's got to be the first episode of next season. So that's unborn kid, Littlefinger. Let me see who else is gonna die. I don't know. Oh, if Cersei decides that she's going to ambush the Unsullied, like, I'm waiting for Grey Worm to die, but he can't though, because there won't be anybody to lead the Unsullied. You know? But it's like, it's gonna be like some random Unsullied and crap that die. And that's it. I don't think anybody else of importance is going to die except for the unborn kid. And I have hope for Littlefinger, but he probably won't. The way it's going, it probably won't be till next season.
AK, who do you think is going to who's going to die, like the major deaths in the season finale?
Major deaths. I think because of the trailers that we've seen, I think the Hound is going to end up fighting the Mountain, and the mountain will crumble. I mean, the Hound, he may get taken out at the same time, but I think he's going to deal that death blow, and undead Clegane will be full dead and not be able to come back. I think it's possible that Littlefinger could get got. I'm kind of waiting on him to get stabbed in the face, honestly. I want to say one of the Northern Lords might die, particularly Glover, because he seems to be scheming with Littlefinger. Let's see. Cersei's unborn child, I'll agree with B on that. Yeah, she. I don't think she's gonna have that kid. She's definitely miscarriage. Let's see. Outside of that, a random amount of red shirt Unsullied. probably will go. But it seemed like Dany gets the Unsullied army back, or at least the bulk of them back from what I saw in the previews. So hopefully Grey Worm does make it out of there and he isn't gone also. I think that's about it.
Yeah, I think I'm with you, ladies. I think Littlefinger has to go. Even though Littlefinger is my favorite character, I definitely think that he has to go. I do think that the Stark girls are going to. I think that whole conversation, you know, the lone wolf but the pack survive. I think that conversation is definitely going to be had in this episode coming up. So I think that pretty soon Arya and Sansa are going to be on the same page and deal with Littlefinger. I wouldn't be surprised if Sansa wears the girl's face, the one that Littlefinger was talking to, and kills him off of Sansa's order. I have a feeling it's going to be both of them that really does Littlefinger in. It's not just going to be one or the other. As far as deaths, I do think it's either going to be the Mountain or the Hound that's going to die. I'm not sure who's going to win that fight, to be honest with you. But it's interesting about that whole. I really got to think hard about that whole White situation because I don't know if it's going to survive the whole way there. I'm trying to think who else needs to die. I think Podrick probably will die for some reason. I just don't see his purpose anymore. So I feel like because we didn't get that many deaths, it depends on really how the flow of the story goes because we might not get that many deaths this season just in general. But I have a feeling that Bronn might die because Cersei did say that he betrayed her, betrayed Jaime. So I'm not sure, but Cersei's got something up her sleeve. I don't know exactly what it is, but who's going to probably die just because it seemed like no one really died. So you're out there just to be petty and say he's gone, but he probably survives.
Damn it, we almost.
Yo, you should have seen my face. I was cheering so hard. I was like, drop, just go. But no, he had a bear grip and stayed on. And
right, freaking Tormund saved him. And I know. It, but that 10 points from Gryffindor because Tormund did that.
See, I think I did a prediction in the other video I did, but I was like, I think that I thought Tormund was going to die saving Jorah, but you know, he saved Jorah, but he didn't die, thank God. So I'm thankful for that. But what's the next question?
All right, let's scroll down here. You guys, if you have any more questions, we're snagging them. So put QA in front so we can pick them out easily. Let me scroll down. The next one is from Michael Anderson. Do you think the White Walkers are going to come for baby Sam? You know, where is one of Craster's sons that got away? Oh, no, because he's one of Craster's sons that got away.
I'll answer it real quick. I don't think so. I think they're just going to kind of lead the story more as Sam being a father to this child that that's not his actual child more than anything. But that little boy still creeps me out. I'm not going to lie. But you never know when it comes to that because, like I said, if in my theory that there is a White Walker that's actually coming through, if they can sense that he's there or not, or what's going to happen. What about you, B?
I really don't know. I don't know. I kind of feel like no, it probably won't. Like I think that the White Walkers, I'm not sure that they are mortal. So for all we know, they can have White Walkers on deck from the first long night. White Walkers that were there before Craster, whoever, you know, begot and taught Craster to give the babies to the White Walkers and their wildling tribes. Like we really don't know how many White Walkers there actually are. 99 and one son, but I would think that Craster hasn't been around forever, so they would have had to, you know, somebody would have had to tell him this is what you do. So I don't know. I don't think they're gonna come for it. I don't know.
AK?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. In the book, I think it's going to matter But for the show and for us only having like 8 more episodes until the finale, I don't think they're gonna come back to that. They've dropped a lot of the fantasy storylines from the show, so I don't think it'll matter where the show is concerned.
All right, and I think we have like one more question.
Yeah, we got one more. This was from Phil H. It says, who all do you guys think will be at the meeting that Cersei's called?
You go first, AK.
Well, I think Brienne is definitely going to be there. If I remember correctly from the previews, we saw that Jon and Dany were there. The Hound, I think definitely. Possibly everybody that rolled with the Hound in the Brotherhood Without Banners may probably be there. But then again, Beric is still around, and he is their leader, so he may decide to just stay at Eastwatch and help watch the wall. I want to say Tormund might go, just because him and Jon have that awesome bromance, and he's cool with the Hound now. So and Tormund's always down for a fight, so he might go just to see what the hell is going to happen. Let's see. Obviously, Cersei, Jaime, Tyrion, probably Missandei, and maybe some other lords that's from the south that Cersei has on her side. Who exactly they are, I can't call, but I think all the people I said are definitely going to be there, and a small possibility of Sweet Robin going to represent the Vale. But then again, his character is pretty much like non-existent anymore, so he may just be on the sidelines also.
B, what do you think? Oh, I'm sorry.
Now you go ahead, B.
Yeah, anything else? Okay, go ahead, B.
I think that I'm pretty right on the money. I think she's just gonna try to get as many heads, like as many lords and ladies and heads of households as she can. Period. Like, I know that's pretty broad, but I think that's what she's gonna try to do. I think that she's book readers, I think she's trying to basically call it a great council. And say, oh, we're putting this forth, before the realm, this huge thing is happening. And really all it is a ploy for her to politically, stay on the throne and be heralded queen. And I don't think it's going to work out for her. But that's what it seems like to me.
Yeah, we're asking who's going to be at the meeting, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
yeah,
when you saw the preview, I think it'd be, of course, the Mountain and the Hound. I think it's Jon, Dany, Tyrion. We saw Dany; she brought all her forces with her. Bronn. It was a lot of people actually in that scene. Basically every important person in King's Landing, Dragonstone, and Winterfell, except for Arya and Sansa, will be at that meeting.
It's almost like she might be trying to pull another Citadel.
She's pulling something, which makes me think she's going to pull that I can't even say that name, the Clegane Bowl, where she's going to say, let's just choose a champion and end it this way so no one else has to die, something like that. She's going to have to be clever about it, and it's going to have to be something where she's persuading the people to be on her side more than be the vicious person. But I think everyone that's important is going to be in that area, which is actually scary because we know that important people in a certain area that Cersei knows about could possibly die. So
yep.
I'm just, yeah. And Timo, shout out to Timo. She's in the chat, and she actually brought up a good, interesting thought where she says that is it wrong to hope Cersei has another wildfire trick and burn them all, Dothraki and Unsullied, outside the gates? I would not put it past Cersei. You put her enemies in a target she knows she's going to be at. And yes, I say that anything's possible. But as far as the question who's going to be at the meeting, all the big players is going to be at that meeting. And I think something really fucked up is going to go down. Was there any more questions?
No, there wasn't. I think something really fucked up, and it's going to be something that backfires on Cersei.
Yeah. All right, ladies, do you have anything else you want to add on before we get up out of here?
No, I think we good. I think we handled everything.
I
B?
do. I we know the title now. We know the title of the next episode.
Oh, yes.
What is
It's
The
the
dragon and the wolf, right?
dragon and the wolf, y'all. So if I don't see Rhaegar Targaryen and Lyanna get married, I'm punching somebody in the damn face because I
I
was
want to see
guaranteed
John
that.
ride a
I thought,
dragon.
they're
Ride the
meeting
fucking dragon.
they're
or
meeting
let
at
me see
the
John and Danny. Yeah,
yeah, so
I
that
want to
it's
see
the
that
that.
dragon and the wolf. It's the same like how it was. Remember when Thing and Joffrey and Homegirl got married? Natalie Dormer's
Mhm,
character.
mhm.
And it was the
Oh,
Lion and
yeah,
the
it was like
Rose.
the lion and the rose. You're right. So we might
Yeah,
see a
like so
wedding
we could be
because
another
John
wedding.
did say he would kneel for her, and she's like, "Oh, do you think I deserve it?" Like, no, bitch, but you got dragons, so hey.
yeah,
But
the king, whether you wanted to realize that before or not, she needs a king. And John is going to be that king.
yeah, but I want to see John ride a fucking dragon. That's what I want to see. You keep showing us there's a connection. He's
Hmm.
a Targaryen. I think all of the information about who John is most likely going to be revealed because this is going to be like 70 or 80 minutes,
Yeah.
so it's going to feel like a short film.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
and
should be all about the dragon and the wolf, hopefully. I'm hoping that the whole episode is mostly in Leon and Rhaegar. Like, tell me what is happening.
right,
I
that's
want
what
to
that's
see
what I
it.
think. Yeah, with that title, I think we are gonna see closer ties with Danny and John, but we may also get that Tourney at Harrenhal flashback.
Come
Yeah,
on.
So
yeah,
I'm
we have to
down
get
with
it.
that. I need to see Lyanna and Rhaegar, damn it.
Hmm.
Yeah, I forgot about the title, but yeah, I really hope it doesn't leak. I really do because I'm not gonna lie to y'all. If it leaks, I'm watching it. I'm not getting spoiled by the last episode. You are not getting me.
I'm about to say, you on your own. I ain't doing this no more. I
Yeah.
hope it do leak. Leak them all before I piss myself. Do it.
No,
Mm-mm.
because I love the the streams before the episode, and then AK's killing it by having the stream during the episode, and then you got cool after shows. So I love that whole thing. That's also the experience I get. But girl, I'm telling you,
I'm
I'm
ready.
not getting spoiled. I am not getting
That's
spoiled.
the
So if it
only
leaks,
reason, because I do that live stream during the show. That's the only reason I have not watched any of the leaked stuff that's come out.
like,
Because I want my
I'm
I
not
reaction.
doing
just
because I'm
didn't.
tired of going through my Facebook feed and my whole life is getting shot. No, I'm not. Mm-mm. No, this
Yeah,
next
you
week
don't
I'm
even
gonna be the
catch any
first one to
kid, no
watch it.
sir.
I'm first as soon as I see it. Yep, I saw it.
Oh, man. All right, ladies, it's been real. This has been fun. So let's let them know where we can find everyone. So B, where can they find you?
You guys can find me using that link that T Baby probably put in the description box below. Um,
Because I be looking out though.
she do. Lady Diligence on YouTube. That's where you guys can find me. I'm looking forward to this next episode, and if anybody even hears anything about a leak, hit me up. I want to be first. I'm tired of it. Someone to watch it, like, oh, I know what happened. Ready?
And AK, where can they find you?
All right, y'all can always find me hanging with my ladies, because those are my sisters. That's my fam always. If you I'm around in a couple different places. If you like The Walking Dead, check out the Walking Bread channel. I voice Michonne as of issue 52. We're up to issue 103 now, I think, and my boys Alex and Josh, they're keeping it going. We are going to be going through the whole series as it comes out. If you like fan fiction, Google Guyana Rose and check me out on fanfiction.net or Archive of Our Own. And I'm on my channel a little bit. I do full reaction live watches videos of each of the episodes. So I will be back 9 o'clock sharp next Sunday to watch the episode with you guys. Jump in the chat room and converse with me and give me your thoughts as we go through the episode and all the nerve-wracking heart attacks that it gives us. And I'm just always around again with my sisters because this is just what we do. This is awesome fun. Thank y'all, everybody in the chat, for coming through all the time, and I'm gonna see y'all in the next one.
And always, you can also catch Timo, even though she doesn't do videos. We're trying to push her in at least on streams. So subscribe to her channel, Be Beauty Queen and AK. Also subscribe to my channel. I am making more video, guys. And after the season, I'll be making more book videos. Also spam Lady Diligence, all of her social media, so she can do a stream with me as we just chit chat in a rabbit hole.
You don't have to
Just saying
spam
it
me
just
for that.
happened.
You could have
But
just
you
asked.
do just
Do not spam me.
yeah, but I'd rather people tell you so you know it's real.
No, I don't.
One more thing that I forgot, T. If you guys are, book lovers like we are, check out Lav's channel. Me, her, BBM, and Monero are doing a book club. We already have one book down. It was Anansi Boys by Neil Gaiman. Our next book is Eaters of the Dead by Michael Crichton, which was also made into a movie called The 13th Warrior, starring Antonio Banderas. We'll be reviewing that either at the end of this month or next month. So sub to her channel and watch out for the notifications.
Yes, definitely sub to Lav and check the ladies out, and also BBM, because I think I missed the last one, but love when everyone gets together and streams. So until the next time, we will be on AK's channel for the season finale, geeking off everything we saw, but it's been real, and I'm glad you guys enjoyed this stream. And until the next time, we'll see you on the other side.